Hello, welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm going to take you through the development and cutting details for the 356 by 171 universal beam but castellated beam, and we'll get started right away, and we'll access it through the applications and component section here. So the moment you mouse over this button here, you'll be able to read the content here. Now I'll click on it and just type the macro you want here, and in this case I need castellated beam, so I'll just double click on it and define the point, the location points where I intend to define my start and end point of my beam. In this case it will stretch all the way to this point, which is 12 meters in length. So I'll give it some time to process that information and go ahead and click OK once that is done, and I'll right click and click on empty screen once again, and right click, and I want to redraw, and I want to refresh everything here. So what I'll do, I'll double click on it once again so that I access this dialog box where I will be inputting my the cutting the development and cutting details for this particular size of castellated beam. Now I'm going to feed in the development and cutting details. Now I'll start with this point, this end to this end. I'll feed a different measurement. In this case it will be 103, and this distance to this distance I'll feed 89 millimeter, and from this end to this end, you can check on my mouse pointing the points from this end to this end. This end to this end, which defines the far end. This far end to that far end will be 356. So I'll feed 356 right here, and also the width of our flanges. That's it. And on that side I'll feed 171, and here we'll change this to, and now it will stretch all the way to 534 right there. So this is how it will look for this particular beam or castellated. So it will the height of our beam will be this. So this is the detail, these are the details that you need, and this is what you'll be referring to if you intend to create castellated beams, and you need details to use to cut your sections into castellated beams. You can feel free and check on this and pick the details right here. Now we'll go straight to this section, and we'll redraw, and we'll do the same thing or similar thing. We'll just cut it out. We'll move step by step and do everything we've done in every part and section of creating every member of castellated beam. There's no part will jump, so that you can follow this in step by step when you need a reference in whatever you want to do, or you need the cutting details and cutting and development details for the castellated beam of this particular size of section. Now I'll come to points right here. I'll come to points and come to add section at any position right there, and zoom out and snap at the bottom end right there. So I don't need to do the same thing the other end. I'll just select this and right click and copy this or transfer these points to the other end. I'll zoom out and move all the way to that position. I'll move it right here, so you can see it here. The reason why it is green is it's hitting the 0 point, so the color changes. So if it is above the 0 level, that's why it's seeing one is red, one is blue. Now I'll come to edit, and I'll access polygon cut. The polygon cut is what we are defining. So the moment you invoke that command, and you'll see that at the bottom end here you're being requested to pick the object to be cut. I'll pick this object to be cut. then I'll start defining my polygon, and I'll start from that spot, and I'll move all the way to the other end. You can move from any direction as long as you close down your path. Your path is closed to define the path to be cut out. Now I'll select on that spot and move all the way to the midpoint of this section here, and I'll snap right there and move all the way to the other end right here. I'll target the midpoint here, which is this position, and move all the way down here to define the part to be cut out. I'll snap right there. So the moment you close the polygon, you immediately lose that part. Right click and redraw to get rid of any symbol or indication that there was something done around here. So we've lost that part. And the moment you save, remember, the moment you save in Tekla structure, there's no way going back. You've completely lost your way back where you came from. So if you intend to go back in any kind of modeling Tekla structure, please don't save. Or if you forgotten or you're done with whatever or modification Tekla structures, you can save, because you're confident enough that you will not be going back. So in this particular case, or in our case, we will not be going back in this again. So we'll go ahead and save that, because what we have here is what we'll use to turn around and get the previous one. So this is the development and cutting details of this member 356 by 171 universal beam, but castellated. We've converted this to castellated beam. Now I'll pick on this, right click and come to a special copy and come to linear, and I want to move this up on the z direction, on the z axis direction. And what I need is some few offset measurements on the z axis. So I'll feed here just a meter or 600 up. So I just need a copy, and I don't need several ones. Now I'll click copy up, and that's where I want it. And what I'll do, once again, I'll redraw, and still I'll try and shift it up, because when I rotate this, it will clash with this, and will create some blockage, and will not be able to see whatever we are doing clearly. Now I'll select on this, right click and come to move here, and I'll snap at the middle point here and target the top end of this part, and I'll place it right there. So I'll right click and redraw. So I'll select on that once again, and prior to selecting it, please check which XYZ plane are you working on. So we'll use the XYZ plane. We'll change out the orientation of our XYZ plane. So I'll pick on that and pick on the work plane tool here and place it here, because we want to rotate it. We want to rotate this about the the Y axis. But actually we will not be using the axis, but just to define our XYZ axis to be in line with whatever we are doing. Now I'll select on that component and right click and come to copy or rotate, move rotate, and come to rotate here, and we will use line. Which line will we rotating about? We'll be rotating about this line, these two. So I'll come here and click move and click OK, and right click and click redraw, and here we are. We have this component and have this component both facing the opposite direction, and we'll join this to the bottom end. I will click move and snap at the top end here and move all the way to the bottom end here, so that we can join these two components and weld them together to form a castellated beam with a different height from bottom to the top flange. Right click and redraw that, and this is what we have in this particular time and point. Now this what we have. We'll close this and we'll close that. So we'll pick on this, we'll right click and come to special copy, and we'll copy this along the XYZ along the X axis, and we'll offset that at a distance of 600 or a meter. A meter will be okay. So we'll shift it to a different location. So that is a wrong direction, which is along the y-axis. So we'll cut that and take it to x-axis here, and I'll click copy, and you'll see that moving slightly away from this one. So I'll right click and redraw, and this is what we have. Remember, you can weld that, and the process of doing the welding I've already showed you, and that should not be a very hectic thing to do. And a simple thing that we'll do here, just to change this color to a different one, and come to by class or color and pick a different setting. Here we can pick a yellow. Here we can pick that yellow and modify, apply and accept that, apply and accept that, and if we zoom close, and this will have this in place. So I'll be able to bring this, or you can just double click on that, and that will come up, and place it here, so that whoever wants to pick these details, remember these are standard cutting details, standard developing and cutting details of castellated beam. This is a BS standard. Now that's it, and thanks a lot for watching this video. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe, and let's meet then on the next step, and bye bye.